Oh my gosh, look at that. Good morning, everybody. I hope you're doing well today. Welcome to part 7 of 4321 playlist. It was going to end on part 6, but as I teased on part 6, there's a drink that I wanted to do, and it's going to be in part 7, which is the one you're watching right now. Very, very simple. If you missed the playlist already, don't forget to start from number 1 and have a marathon after this video. 4 recipes that are 3 ingredients to try one time in your life. And there's blooming stonking some of the things we've come up with. Today might be my favourite, if it works. Hazelnut iced latte, shakshuka with bacon, all right, a shepherd's pie, and a chocolate chip ganache tart. That is what we're going to make. 3 ingredients each, 12 in total. No oil, no seasoning, anything like that, because I want you guys to do that. A lot of you are like, well, you could have done this, you could have done that. Trust me, when you do the life online, sometimes you get some comments, you're just like, yeah, it's not worth the hassle. But my aim with this playlist is to show you really simple, actually budgeting recipes for students. And a lot of you guys are loving that. I will do a basic student playlist, which actually might have more ingredients, but it'll be nice and cheap. We'll work on that. But the main thing is to just try and inspire you. So whereas I might not use seasoning today, I want you to use oil. Yeah? The first thing we're going to start with is actually dessert, because there's a few steps with that. So this is a chocolate chip ganache tart. Oh. All right, I'm just going to preheat my oven to 180C. That's 180C fan, which is 200C. I only know that because that's what it says on the packet, but it's cookie dough. This is one of my favourite trays that I've got. You might have a favourite tray in your house. This is my favourite. I guess it's like ergonomically. It just looks cool and it just feels nice. It's basically a small tart tray. Ingredient number 1 for this is some of the store-bought cookie dough that you can get, which seems to be on every... whenever I do a tasty recipe, you know, when I do the Barry Tries playlist, it seems to always be on those. So what I'm going to do... You know, I never test any of my recipes, right? I feel like it's kind of like trial and error, and I'll put the video up anyway, but generally it's been so far so good. If you are not being strict to the 3 ingredients like me, I would lightly grease this, but I think it should pop out anyway once there's a bit of shrinkage, which it will happen. What I'm trying to do is, you can see I'm pressing it down to try and form that sort of bucket for our ganache to sit in. And as I'm doing that, some more is coming to the surface. So you can just scrape that away, build it up for your rest of them. So that's 1 done. That looks pretty darn neat. Look at that. Like a little swimming pool. I'm gonna maybe do 3 more. Well, I actually had quite a lot of cookie dough, so I've done 6 cookie buckets. Now, I've got a feeling I might have to press down the middles as it cooks. But once it firms, it will give us a nice little solid foundation. What are we gonna put in that bucket? We are gonna fill it with chocolate ganache, which is made of, yes, chocolate and cream, which we can then use again to top it and make it look stonking. Scales, all right, this might look a bit weird, but when it comes to ganache, you can actually get a different kind of like vibe. Vibe isn't the word. By changing your ratio, you get a different texture. Yes. So I'm using a jug. I don't know why. I always find it tricky to convert mils and grams and stuff, so I just shove everything in a scale. So for a standard ganache, the ratio of thick, heavy cream or double cream, whatever you want to call it, and chocolate is 1:1. So say 200 grams of chocolate, 200 grams of cream. If you want it more thin and runny, you use double the amount of cream because obviously it's more watery than the chocolate. But I'm gonna go for the opposite. I want it to be kind of like thick. So it's actually 2 parts chocolate to 1 part cream. You get me? Oh my gosh, and you completely missed the jug. I need 220 grams, maybe just a teeny bit more. So now I know that with this, 220 and 450 grams of chocolate, I've pretty much got the ratio on, so it's going to be a bit thicker to go in our buckets. Aha, yes, look, see, the middles are rising up a little bit, not much. I think the actual best way here is to actually scoop a little bit out the center, like that. Oh, there we go, that's much better. There we go then, so I've cored out the middle. Ugh. Obviously making sure there's still a bottom for it, because we don't want the ganache spilling out, and we'll keep baking them. The other thing, of course, you can do is once they are done, we'll take them out of the oven and then press them down again so they kind of cool into that shape. If you ever want to annoy someone with OCD, just post a picture of this on your Twitter. True story. So for ganache, normally you would grate the chocolate, but I'm just going to slice it fairly fine, all right? It's the actual heat of the cream that is going to melt the chocolate, so for them being in smaller pieces, it will melt quicker. Either that, chocolate chips, or grating it if you want to, is the best way. Yes! Nice. As you can see, they're not completely light golden in colour. They're like more darker golden, but what I'm going to do I've had this little idea. Look, this is the bottom of a glass. This is working great. I'm just gonna sit that in there. So in fact, I would scrap what I did, so don't scoop out the middle, and then just use your glass just to create an indentation. Look at that, that looks amazing. Okay, so for the ganache, low flame, little saucepan, and the cream goes in on its own first of all, okay? Just the cream, and we're gonna bring it up to just a boil. I just said just quite a bit, didn't I? But that's just the way I roll. And I've put, just to make this easier, the chocolate into a jug so I can pour it in there in a minute. And you might be able to see from where I've chopped that chocolate up, I've got these little sort of bits of chocolate left over. Just leave that, okay? Leave that right for the end. In goes our chocolate. Oh my gosh. Oh. What I want you to do is turn it off the heat. Whenever I say turn it off the heat, it always reminds me of a dog on heat, but that's another story altogether. Off the heat, and it's just gonna sort of fall in, okay? So make sure the cream is submerged in all the chocolate, but then just leave it. So there's still got the residual heat on the hob. It will just start to melt it for us. All right, hopefully, oh, here it comes. This should look really, really good. Just make sure that underneath is all stirred in too. And it's there, look at that. Oh, love it. And amongst all that craziness, this pan is basically nice and cool now. So we can get the ganache in there using our jug. Oh my gosh, look at that. You could do so much more to this if you weren't restricted to 3 ingredients, which is where you guys come in. So a little tap for it just to settle and, you know, kind of go smooth and no air bubbles and all that sort of stuff. And we stick it in the fridge. That dessert isn't done yet, but now we're gonna go on to the main, which I really hope is gonna work. You know what a shepherd's pie is, right? If you're not sure, imagine that Boston is a cow, okay? This is role play, and he's beef mince. So that is a cottage pie because everyone who owns a cottage has a cow in their house. That's a well-known fact here in England. But a shepherd's pie, I want you to think shepherds, and shepherds are lambs. So shepherd's pie has lamb mince. That's what we're doing, shepherd's pie. Not you, we're not gonna cook you. And I don't know if this is gonna work, but a shepherd's pie is gonna have the lamb mince. Normally it's packed with vegetables. You can flavour the heck out of it. And then of course you've got a gorgeous potato topping on, which you can flavour that too. Mustards and creams. No, you can. This is gonna be my version. I don't know if it's gonna work. We're gonna use lamb mince, not pug mince. Also gonna need some potatoes. These are baby potatoes. I'm gonna keep the skin on because keeping the skin on, I think, enhances vitamin B and calcium. But also they're small, so I'm feeling lazy. And we're gonna try out a hack for that. So that will be our potato topping. It's just potatoes. Our third ingredient is some soup. Chunky vegetable soup. Actually thinking about it, I went to the store and they had some beef ones, they had chicken. So I could have omitted like the lamb. We could have done a shepherd's pie and I could have had some other stuff. But no, I'm feeling that this is a chunky one. It's not smooth. It's gonna have the texture. We're gonna cook up the lamb. We're gonna mix it in with this and then the potatoes on top. We'll do the potatoes first. Right, I've given these a quick wash and I saw a hack the other day with potatoes where if they're bigger, you slice them up. But when they're like this, I'm just gonna leave it as is. But you can microwave them. So what you need to do is get some cling film, AKA Rapmaster 3000. Pierce a few holes in it just to allow some steam to escape and then bung it in. Your microwave over there. Now I've got no idea if this is gonna work. But it goes in there for about 14 minutes, 14 and a half, there we go. Get yourself a pan, medium flame. I'm not allowed to use oil, but lamb is quite fatty anyway. So I'm gonna take it from the pack. Oh yeah. Get that off. Hands are washed and this thing that looks a bit like a brain, we're gonna break down now and start to fry it up. So we're gonna really fry this, get some good color on it, and with color comes flavor, so we really wanna push that. Okay, I'm not sure if you can see there, but it's nice and brown, but this is the fat here, and what I'm gonna try and do is simmer as much of that off as I can and really push that color. So I'm gonna keep going. Crikey, I've never seen that before. I've got steam coming out of my microwave. I am gonna open the door a little bit and I am not gonna go anywhere near that for a little bit. So So with the lamb, I've just taken it off the heat. I'm not sure if you can see, there's some specks that are darker than others, which is great. That's that charness that I wanted, almost like a caramelization, and you just bring out those extra colors, that sort of sweetness and that charness that, you know, it's just one ingredient, but you're really pushing the boundaries on it. But then, of course, you could ruin the whole thing by putting some soup in it. Why does cold soup always smell of dog food? Right, so I'm gonna see what one tin does. Not much. Good job I bought two. But this is not a reduced salt soup by any means, so that's how I'm getting around with, you know, seasoning and stuff like that. But of course, you'd be adding so much more to this now. But we've got quite a lot of veg going in there and flavour too. So I'm just gonna stir it through so the lamb gets to meet its vegetable soup friend. It's actually off the heat now, so you can hear what I'm saying a little bit. It's getting a bit hot in here with the steam of the potatoes as well. All right, so that is really nice and mixed together. I'm gonna put it back on the heat to warm up the filling and maybe just simmer it just to reduce it down a teeny weeny bit. So there we go, it's just warming up already. You can see it bubbling away, and my camera skills, as you know, aren't the best, but it's not about that. The lighting in here doesn't help, but for me, this is honestly looking really good. I'm positive. At the moment, I've got two things going on. My delicious filling, as you know, that I'm raving about, and also the steamed potatoes of doom. But with the steam comes opportunity, because as I say, with mashed potato, you get some milk in there, all the good stuff. But because I've left the cling film on, the moisture, I'm hoping, condensation and all that other stuff, probably not gonna work. It's gonna hit the cling film, and that might seep in the potatoes to kind of wetten them a little bit. So I'm getting a bonus fourth ingredient of H2O. Look, see that condensation on the top? It's like a trampoline. That is dripping back in with the potato, so it's helping me, giving it a little bit of lubrication, which is what butter and milk and all that stuff will do, as well as flavour. Oh, look at that. So, oh my gosh. Oops. Mashing this up. Oh, these are like squishing like a dream. This is actually therapeutic. They feel like big grapes. All right, that'll do. So whilst that's steaming, and the pan there, you can still steam off. It's basically a steam video, this. I'm getting a facial right now. I'm gonna preheat the oven to 160C fan, which actually, it might not need that much because we already had it on, didn't we? All right, baking dish. And I'm gonna push my filling in. Oh, look at that. And what I'm gonna do is start to load my mash on top. All right, that might be the messiest topping I've ever done in my life. I don't care. The really cool thing is now, rather than putting it in the oven, if you don't want to do this, you could freeze it and store it for like a month. I'm just going to run a fork along the top just to rake it a little bit. It is quite high to the edge, so it might bubble over a little bit, but those lines can get charred and golden brown and make it distinctive. The other thing I could have done, which is very, very retro, oh my gosh, is have you ever heard of piping potatoes? It's like from the 80s, where you get a piping bag and actually make it look like buttercream icing. We ain't doing that. All right, I got a little bit excited on my filling, so I'm expecting it to bubble over, hence it going into a roasting tray. Should take about 25 minutes. All right, whilst that's browning in the oven, we've got a little bit of time to start the shakshuka, which would be good as a kind of like a breakfasty brunch thing really, but also a snack starter thing, which is what we've done on every video on this playlist so far. Awesome. Shakshuka does kind of sound like a dodgy, cheap aftershave, or possibly a wrestler. Weighing 500 pounds, shakshuka! But it's a Middle Eastern, Mediterranean kind of brunchy vibe thing with like tomatoes, chilies, garlic, eggs, loads of stuff. So we're just gonna do a really simple spin on it. Let's do it. All right, first up, grab yourself a frying pan. This is the one that I just cooked my old shepherd's pie filling in. Still a little bit warm actually, even though I cleaned it out. Low flame. In this packet here are some bacon lardons. Okay, so little chunks of bacon and still a teeny bit of fat on it. It's all good. We're gonna cook and caramelize this up. All right, check this out. That's only been a minute and we're starting to get some color already. We're gonna really push it. We're not gonna burn it, but we're gonna take it to its limits. To compensate for all that gorgeous shakshuka filling what would normally be there, we're just gonna use a jar of chunky salsa. They do this in mild, hot, loads of different ones. You can get it in the supermarket. That will hopefully give us that texture we need. So we're gonna warm it up with the juices of the bacon and with the bacon. Oh. We've got the onions, the tomatoes, the peppers in these jars. So it's a really good little workaround. And we're gonna just stir that through so the juice from the bacon goes in and it all becomes a bit of a medley. We're gonna warm this through, probably not simmer it too much. And so far so good, Boston. I just checked my shepherd's pie. It ain't bubbling too much right now. It's got a nice char in. Oh, Look at that. That is roaring away and all those flavors are mingled together. So I am actually taking this off the heat for the moment, but what you would normally do now, if you were just making this, if you want to do it in the pan, you can just make a little dip there and stick your egg in and cook it. But we're going to do it in the oven, so I can show you that method too. So what I'm going to do is take an oven-proof dish. That looks good, doesn't it? I'm going to let that cool for a little bit because I want it to finish near the end with all the other bits. So we'll go back to our desserts and the shepherd's pie. Just had a little sneak and my shepherd's pie is almost done. There's hardly any bubbling, but that's quite like aesthetic, isn't it? When you see like the drizzle of the filling going down the side of the dish. We're going to get that. Oh yeah. So I'm hoping that because I couldn't grease these, that they're not stuck. Yes! Look at that. That's beautiful. Because the cookie dough has the butter in it, it's kind of greased the tray for us. But if you can just put a teeny bit in there, it'll probably help you get it out. All right, it's shepherd's pie time. Oh, hot, 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 hot. Oh, yes, it's like a savory crumble. Look at the sauce dripping out the side. And that charred top. I keep saying it, but that is flavor for free. For our chocolate tarts, one of the ingredients for the ganache was cream. So here is some more double cream, whiskey. Whipped. So what I'm gonna do is, oh, I've got cream on my camera. Whoops. So what I'm gonna do is take my tarts and just do a very rough dollop of cream. There's no skill or art to this. I'm just dolloping it on. A little bit of leftover chocolate that I told you to leave or whatever I said. Wow, it's blooming awesome. I'm gonna keep these in the fridge, otherwise the cream will go funny. Yeah, that cream will go funny because it's hot in here and we need the oven one more time. Remember I said you can do this in a frying pan if you want, put a lid on it to steam the egg whites and cook it through. I made a little canyon or dip in the salsa and there we go. The egg yolk's gonna sit right in there like that. We bake this 160°C until it's white, so about 10 minutes. I don't know what it is. I love recipes where you stick an egg in the middle of something. The last thing is the thing that I teased, which actually resulted in this whole video being a thing anyway, the hazelnut iced latte using ice cubes that I've already made. Not normal ice cubes, these are coffee ice cubes. All you do is make some black coffee and pour it into an ice cube mold. Once it's got to room temperature, freeze it. This has actually been in my freezer for like 10 days. And by adding a flavored milk, I'm gonna go for a sweetened hazelnut milk. We get a hazelnut latte. So I'm gonna try and do this fairly quick because obviously we've got the egg cooking away, don't wanna burn that, but little beaker thing. Let's try and get an ice cube in. Come on. They have been in there for a while. Probably live in there now. Probably got a mortgage on it and everything. Right, there's 1, 2, I want 5, 3, 4, 5. Sorry about that. I'm going to pour in my hazelnut milk. Oh yeah. There it is in there. So we've got our hazelnut milk and those coffee ice cubes. Make sure that's on. Oh, that is, oh my God, that is insane. It's time for the sexy lens. And in comes, oh look. Oh, I feel like I'm a barista. And if I change a setting on the camera, it kind of looks like Senor Bean is dunking in it. Check this out, look. You can see it through the window. Ah, oh, that was about just over 10 minutes. The egg white is cooked through. I love how a little bit spills out. So there we go, that looks amazing. And I did just quickly check with a bamboo skewer that the egg white was cooked through, okay? Very, very important. The shepherd's pie, we've got our iced coffee, the shakshuka bacon style-y, and our chocolate ganache tarts. So this is the one that interests me the most. Oh, I should have broke it. What are you doing? Oh my gosh. That's a shepherd's pie, all right. Look, I'm breaking up my egg yolk in my shakshuka. And I got a chunk of bacon. It smells spicy. Oh, it's still warm. Wow. It's not spicy because it was a mild salsa, a gentle kick in there, but there's an overriding smokiness from the bacon. And then like the egg is kind of like a softness, like, hey, I'm an egg. That makes a really nice brunch. Of course, it's not an authentic shakshuka, but it's a hell of a hack on it. That would be an amazing brunch. Wash it down with this. Oh, that is soothing, ice cold. You've got those little granules of ice still in there. I've kept it in the fridge just to keep it nice and cold. A mild hazelnut coffee kick, which I love. The shepherd's pie, a bit of cheese on the top would be nice too, but here we go. Oh my gosh. That is so rich and sort of dense with the flavours in there. You're just thinking, oh, I've just got the lamb there. But that soup is the real king of this recipe. The charness on the potatoes as well, there's a softness there. That worked to charm in the microwave. But that is really good. If you're in an emergency or on a budget and you want to rustle that together, like, you wouldn't know. Of flavours. I promised myself I wouldn't cry. Wow. And a chocolate tart, I mean, come on, I love that ganache reveal, how it's there. It's kind of tempting you. It's like, no, I'm not just cookie, I'm not just cream. Here we go. Because we baked it a little longer, those cookies give you like a stonking crunch on there. Then you've got like these depths of layers. You've got, you know, the cream is soft and oozy. The chocolate sprinkles, they kind of work in. And then the ganache, this like velvety layer just hits you. I think out of all of the ones on this playlist so far, please have a marathon and check out the rest, as I say. But I think this might be my favourite. And this playlist isn't going to die, but I'm going to put it on hold for a little bit. We're going to be doing some budget meals and tastes of the world as well, which I love your opinions on already. So I hope you'll love it. If you try any of these recipes, send me a picture on social media. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you later.
Check your level, player. No matter what your style, the kitchen's for me. Simon's moustache, goatee, maybe all three.